Hello and welcome to the Nonsense Chronicles. This is Doug Sashry, and as always, I am joined by...
Rob Mendiola.
Yay. What's a good word today, Rob?
Oh, man, just, catching up on work. It's a Monday.
1,000 degrees outside?
Yeah, I'll try not to get out there too much, but...
Yeah. It's
staying cool.
It's a pretty hot Monday, and I don't think we're going to get rain for a while.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. It beats the cold. Older you get, the colder gets more of an enemy.
So who do we have today? Doug?
Chance McClain. Now, hi, Chance. How you doing today, man?
Good, Doug. It's awesome. Glad to be out here in beautiful Waller, Texas.
Waller,
That's right.
Texas.
We got I came across listening to Chance, I want to say, was it 610 in Houston? That's where it started?
Yeah, Sports Radio 610.
What year did that kick off? 95, 96?
No. I was a character on the show prior, just as a listener, back when you would fax in. So I would fax in to John and Lance. And I got him, and then I started writing songs and parodies and sent in a song about Matt Bullard that they loved. And then a dude from the Rockets heard it, and he was like, hey, put me in contact with that guy. So I met with the Rockets guys. Then every time Bull would drain a three, they would play my song in a Compact Center at the time.
That's pretty cool.
And then when Yao in 03, Yao Ming, when we found out we were going to draft the 7'4" Chinese guy, I did a song about Yao, and then he blew up, and the song blew up, and I ended up, my goodness, there's a lot of stories around the Yao years, but from that, I was able to turn that into a career in radio, where I got hired as creative director at CBS Radio, Sports Radio 610 in Houston. And that's probably where you first heard me. I was behind the scenes. I was, I wasn't on-air talent.
No, but what you would do, you would pitch in, and give in this everyone's. Because see, before all this, like I moved to Houston area in 93, and I would travel to different cities around the country on what I do, and I would catch different, and like, okay, remember the sports station there or the sports station here, and the ticket hooked me in Dallas, but at that time, there was no terrestrial radio. I mean, there was no, you couldn't do it on your computer first, and there was no apps. And we had Ed, what was his name? The guy that...
Ed Fowler.
Ed Fowler.
Says here in the Chronicle.
Look, you stupid caller. They had him and Kenny Hand and all those guys, and you'd get afternoons, but you wouldn't get full day. But then all of a sudden, Houston got its show, its station. And John Granado he's out of Wisconsin, but he had done time in Louisiana, which the story behind it, I guess, they changed. His name is John Granado. But for some reason, somebody there told him in Lafayette that he had to change his name to John Grant.
Your name's too ethnic.
I don't get that because I'm from South Louisiana, and we got, look at Coach Ogeron. Just come on, man. And so anyhow, he was there with Lance Zerline, and Lance's dad was assistant coach of the Steelers, and God knows how many other teams, and they were great to listen to. And that was a really good pairing. See, I'm going off on a tangent here. And I'll say this about sports radio. The reason why I've always liked Dallas better now, look, I was hooked on John and Lance at 610. They moved over. I moved over with them. And I didn't listen to the Dallas show until after that show was over. Now you can listen to it all. But the thing was, in Dallas, they have kept their talent. In Houston, it's been ping, 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 and that's, you lose that.
It's the same cast of characters. They just changed sticks. John and Lance are on ESPN 97.5 now, still doing the same show.
But he went to purgatory for a while at 790. And that's where I picked up on listening to you, and then one day you just disappeared out of the blue.
Yeah, after Sports Radio 610, we had this clandestine mission where we launched a new sports radio station, and I had a non-compete, so I disappeared for 6 months and then came back on at 1560 The Game as a program director. Had a hell of a time there. Just, wow, that was 3 years of fun. A lot happened during those years. I did the musical, wrote a musical that played off Broadway. That was a lot of fun. Made a movie, released it online for free, and got got some awards, got to go to LA for some stuff, learned video, started getting into video at that time. And then in 2011, our little local station had bought Sporting News Radio, and we all thought, we're going to get to do what we do, like crazy shit nationally. It's going to be amazing. That's not quite how it worked out. Instead, we brought in their practices and started applying that kind of corporate mindset to local radio. And we went from number 1 in sport of 4 sports stations to number 4 in 1 month. And I was, I didn't like anything we were doing. And I was really being recalcitrant and not a very good employee. Mm-hmm. And so I was told basically, get on board or get out the door. And I said, well, I told Mr. Gow, I said, man, this is just not what I think's right. He literally pulled out a separation packet and told me to beat it.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
So then I was in the wind and went immediately into video production. I'd been doing some, but started doing, I had lots of relationships. So I started doing TV commercials and internet videos and silly stuff. So that gets you to 2011, 2012, that era.
Is that, when did Legacy start?
Heritage Films.
Heritage.
Yeah, but we make legacy films, same thing. 2014, Michael Berry is another local radio guy. In fact, right. Michael and I have been friends for about 20 years. I was a program director of 1560, and he was the program director of all the AMs at Clear Channel. So he was running 790, and I was running 1560, and we were competing against each other, but we were still friends. In fact, when I left radio, it was David Barron wrote about me getting whacked.
Oh God, yeah.
And so Michael texted, and so I went to his place, and he wanted to hire me, but I was like, I don't want to work for a big company, and I appreciate it, so thoughtful, but I'm going to try to do this video thing. And he was kind of mad, I think. But so I didn't take that, and I started doing my own video stuff. Then we stayed friends, really good friends, really, with the RCC, the club. We just did a bunch of stuff. I started doing stuff on his show just for fun, and then got in 2014, his dad was turning 75, and he says, hey man, can you come over and film my dad? And I'm like, what's wrong with your dad? He said, nothing's wrong with my dad, but I want my kids to know their pawpaw. Like, and he's like, just talk to him, just ask him about growing up. And I said, yeah, sure. So he said, you'll do it? I said, yeah, no problem, happy to. He goes, okay, cool. He's going to be here tomorrow at noon. He does not want to do this at all. He's the shyest guy in the world. Yeah, you're good. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, oh boy. So I showed up. It was just me, set up one camera, and sat down and started visiting with him, just following curiosity, really. And then we visited for about 4 hours, and turns out that's like the longest he'd ever talked to anybody.
Oh, wow.
And so from that, Michael talked about that on air, and a few people tracked me down and said, hey, will you film my brother or will you film my dad? I said, sure. So I did a few of them. And then about a year later, my stepdad tells us after Thanksgiving that he's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Oof.
And he's like, yep, they tell me a year. And we're like, oh boy. So I had done a couple of these films, and I said, hey, can we film you? And he says, well, sure. Well, I cried at like Michael's dad. I'm a crier. And so I asked Michael if he'd do the interview. He said, yeah. And it was hard to, between chemo and radiation and Michael, a syndicated radio, it was hard to get schedules worked out. But Michael finally called on a Sunday and said, we're doing Sam this week. We're going to use the green room at the club, and bring him in, sit his butt down, and I'll talk to him. So we did it on Tuesday. He died Sunday.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
And I still wasn't thinking this is a company. I felt the emotional need for this thing. And then Michael brought a bottle of bourbon to the funeral. Classy, right? So we were out nursing a bottle of bourbon, and he goes, hey, man. He's always silly and playful, and this was one time when he wasn't. He was like, hey, man, you should really give this a go. This could be a thing. So I got together with my wife. We said, all right, let's try. And then we launched it. Now we've done like 800 films all over the country. That's
incredible.
I don't know where I heard. I don't know if John Lance had mentioned it or.
Yeah, we're still buddies. So
yeah, and I saw that and I was like, man, that is the greatest damn idea in the world, because we have all this technology to do this now, and this is a living legacy that you handing to your kids that they can see forever. We can't see our great grandparents, people that we never met. We have no clue. We have a million questions we have to ask, or parents about them. If we're lucky enough still to have our parents, and
or the stories get so diluted, through time.
Yeah.
But to have that archive like that.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a cool. I got into that so innocently, like how I told you. That's how I did it. And there are other companies that do what we do. Nobody's done as many, and honestly, nobody here in the States does it at the level that like we. It's a very white glove, very, dude. It's what you see on like a Netflix doc. It's high end cameras, lights, mics,
high def,
all that, and then it's a long process. It's an 8-week edit. But dude, what you get is what you see on TV. I mean, and that's part of, I think, what makes it work. There's some familiarity with, we're used to seeing people at a certain size on the screen and with the blurred background from depth of field, all those things that they're doing. Well, we're just doing that for your family. And I think that's been good.
Yeah, I think that is a beautiful thing that, I think it's so unique, so.
Yeah, and there's been funny story, crazy stories, like confessions, like everything. You do 800 films from people between, the youngest is in their 30s and the oldest is a couple of people 102 years old. Going to Wisconsin in 2 weeks for a dude that was in the second wave at D-Day and Battle of the Bulge. And this dude will talk about it. We've done 28 World War II vets. This dude will be the first guy that saw bullets flying that is like, yeah, I'll talk about it all day long. Let's talk.
God.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
That's like I said, you get that history, and it is, especially in your family. You can get people on the History Channel or whatever, you can get that, but people in your family, you'll never get those experiences. And some of them, they don't. I would say that probably some people don't want to open up and tell, but somebody on the outside, they'll tell it to you and then say, hey, let's save this for family.
Yeah, they fill out forms, and one of the blocks says, and of course, all this is through trial and error. One of the blocks says, basically, any landmines, anything that you don't want to talk about. Because I would go into one and I'd be talking and I'd be like, okay, so you graduated high school in 1960 and you got married in 72. So let's talk about those 12 years. And the guy's like, you had a marriage he doesn't want to talk about.
Right.
Like, so I had to learn. So now we write down anything we shouldn't talk about.
Right.
And they'll write down stuff for Vietnam or the Korean War, or they'll write down ex-wives or dead kids or all these different things they write down. But almost invariably, when I get to a point in it, like a good example is this dude named Bruce who wrote down, will not talk about the Vietnam War. And so I get up there, we talk through basic training, and I said, all right, then you shipped off. A couple years later, you're back. Let's pick it up. You're home. Your wife is here waiting for you. And he goes, well, I don't ever talk about this, but let me tell you why I don't. And I'm like,
wow,
I got you.
Sit back.
And then it was the first time he had talked about it since 1969. And he was bawling his eyes out. And when he told a story, I'm like, bro, you shouldn't talk about that. It was messed. It was hand-to-hand knife killing in a truck. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And but he got it out and he felt better. And after he got through and dried his eyes, I'm like, well, on your card you said you didn't want to talk about that. Have you visited with your kids about it? Have you anything? And he's like, no. I said, well, we'll take it out of the film if you want. He goes, no, I think they should hear it. It'd be easier for them to see it on TV than for me to have to tell them. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Like
cool?
it could give them a better understanding of who he was, and why he was certain ways about things and whatnot,
does anybody request this to be given to family post?
They do.
Yeah.
Very, very often. In fact, we just wrapped one like today. They all run together today or yesterday. What is it? I don't even know what day of the week it is. Monday. So no, Friday Sunday. Then. Mm-hmm. Where they get it because we have a review phase where it's done. Watch your movie, and some of them are like, just make sure it's good because nobody wants to see it until Mimi is on the other side. We're like, all right, cool enough. Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
And some people call us after they're gone. Like, we've got all these pictures and all this stuff. Is there stuff? Yeah, there's stuff we could do. So we've got time in. We got our 10,000 hours in this space, and we can make cool stuff.
You've become more educated as you go, and you learn, just like anything else,
It's the best. I love it. I would have never, dude. My background was like crazy. I could say crazy stories, and now I'm sitting across from 82-year-old guy, a CPA for 45 years with a mid-level firm, and I'm in, dude. What else? I love it.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed that.
No, it's good storytellers. That, in fact, I think we like to get a lot of people on that are good storytellers. In fact, I told we talked about this earlier that I said I would almost bet when chance comes he will easily take the mic and run. Yeah. So I knew that you would be you'd have the good ones, man.
Well, yeah, it's there. I have to be careful because, bro, I got a story for everything, and it ain't mine. It's stories I borrow from the people that I've filmed, but I have to stop myself from going, oh, you think that's crazy? Let me tell you about this dude. Let me tell you about a World War. I see. I could start right now. I could do it right now. I got cool stories.
Yeah. It's like like some of the musicians. We know some stories, but there's some stories that are best left unsaid. Yeah.
And we're very sensitive to that, so we don't share the films unless the family tells us we can. Because we have some clips out there, but I always ask the family if we can use it. There's one that's funny that I distribute. Is this old shrimper dude? Oh man, he's so good. He's like 90 and potty mouth from hell, and it is the funniest thing watching this 90-year-old dude. Oh, the hell with it! Much gruffer than that though.
Was he out of Louisiana or Texas?
Right out on the border, right between the two.
I'll be damned. Yeah, Sabine Pass.
Sabine Pass. Yeah.
Okay.
Shrimp boat and yeah.
So you don't do like the true journalist trying to like pull out dirt and stuff that.
No.
Or trying to get them at their worst.
Okay. There is a modicum of that because sometimes, we also send forms out to their friends, loved ones, family, schoolmates, and stuff, whoever the hell they want. And we're like, I say form like it's some formal thing. It's like, dude, tell me something cool to talk about. Like that's what the form says.
Okay.
So that, the son is going to have something different than a high school best friend, right?
Right.
So, and sometimes there is a level, you have got to ask her about what happened with her and Bo in 1969 at the whatever, at the Moody Blues concert.
Yeah.
God.
And so now I'm talking to this older lady and I'm like, okay, I understand you're in the Moody Blues. Oh dear, I love the Moody Blues. I love Nights in White Satin. I'm like, oh yeah. So did you ever see him in concert? I did.
So you're kind of leading them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did you see it with? Did Karen write?
Yeah, see? Yeah. Those will come out.
Yeah.
What about now you do those, but you told me isn't there aren't you doing some other
Oh, I can make it sound terrible. Yeah. I'm doing kids now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, cut. No,
my wife. We just started a company just now that we film old people. Well, now we have a studio in Tomball. It's Tom Baller, where you bring in your kids like 6 to graduate from the age of about 6 until whenever you'd graduate college. Ideally, they come in once a year or at those key years, and they sit in and they get, it's again, professional studio setting, good cameras, all that good stuff. But you ask this panel of questions, the same or similar questions each time, and it's like you package your kid at that moment. They're shorter, they're like 15 to 20 minute finished film. But we get 100 or 50 pictures off their iPhone. We add a bunch of crap on. It's all professional, so it's all high speed looking. We knew this worked because Christmas before last, we filmed my son. He's 25, and we're like, let's just try it. So we filmed him at home. There's a Christmas tree in the background. We're just a total proof of concept, and we did it. And then over the next 5 or 6 months, we've got the studio. We're filming it. We're just trying to get better and better. And my wife calls me. She's hyper involved in this with me. And she's like, where's Noah's Year Flicks video? And I said, oh, it's in the Dropbox. I'll send you the link. Why? What? And I'm thinking, she's like, I want to change a font or I want to do something like that. And she goes, no, I just wanted to see it. And it was at that moment that the people that made this company literally wanted to use the product of the shittiest one we've ever filmed. 6 months. He has changed so much in 6 months, and he's 25. Now make a 13-year-old. Holy crap. They're going to be like T-Swizzle's the best thing ever. I love Taylor Swift. A year later, they're gothed out. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Kids just flip. Anyway.
Well, if they, what's his name? Did the film, what was that? A boy, something.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And
Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, and they used what did they film it over? Was
over
it 10
12 years?
Yeah.
Boyhood.
Yeah. And so, thank God nobody passed in that time, so the kid and everybody had aged. I mean, that's a very creative process, but boy, you know, it was the first I think that I know of to do it. So
yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah.
Longest one. Yeah.
So yeah, kind of.
But you get to see the kids grow up, and you see them as they are, and it's a cool setup we have where it's not an interview like this. The kid is sitting in the studio by themselves, and they're looking into a teleprompter, but instead of words on a teleprompter, we've got an inverted video feed of a producer in a different room. So it allows them the privacy of a room by themselves. They express more, they open up because they're not in the room with some 25-year-old dude. And then we're able to switch between the producer, and we'll put like fill in the blank sentence stems. Finish this sentence. This next year, I hope that I, and there's a blank, and they'll go, this next year, I hope that I, and then I get my driver's license, and I can't wait I hope I get a car. And then they just start talking. Yeah. So we have these and then we do like a this or that at the beginning, where they'll see a picture of a Dr. Pepper and a Coke, and they'll be like, Dr. Pepper. And then it'll say, why? Because Dr. Pepper's from Texas. Anyway, when you edit together, you see a Dr. Pepper on the screen, you hear the kid go, or Dr. Pepper and a Coke, and you hear the kid go, Dr. Pepper, because Dr. Pepper is made in Houston. So lots of, anyway.
So you said you're doing this now, or you doing this in installments, like the same kid, you come back?
Yeah, that's what we want. I mean, the parents can do whatever they want, however many they want, but yeah, they come back, they will be getting emails throughout, you know, as the year goes on. Hey, you're 6 months out. If you want to film Braden again.
So it's a chronicle of that child.
Man, that is so fantastic. Yeah, I'm a big history nerd, and that's also why I'm into sociology and just about people, you know, and any kind of history, you know, the simplest to you know, world events. It all chronicling it is awesome. And then I think back at the tapes I have of my kids of the old dance review videos, and I got some VHS. I don't know what we would play them on, you know. So
use Legacy Box. They're cheap, and they do a good job.
To convert it over.
Whoops, sorry guys, change my mic.
To convert it.
Yeah, it's a company. You ship it off, they ship it back. It's good.
That's pretty good.
So the reason I changed the name of my company from Legacy Film Company to
tighten up your.
To
it's okay. We can curse on this radio.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah. To Heritage Films, because of Legacy Box was launching, and they were getting really big, and people would be calling me like multiple times a day. I've got 1,000 pictures I want scanned. I'm like, I'm capable of that, but I don't think I'm the company you're looking for.
So you went with the switch, man. I you know, a lot of people that are in radio and at one time or another, I don't think that they step into as good a thing as what you've done. You know, I think that it's fantastic. You know, I think that's a very creative process.
It is. I'm not a natural business person. I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm not a natural performer. I've recorded like 500 songs. I've got stuff on the radio. I've done all that stuff. But it took me like growing up seriously to realize I'm a producer. I'm a behind the scenes guy. Like even now, this is awkward for me because my job is to ask short questions with long answers, but I'm on a podcast. So that would be terrible. I could flip the script on y'all. We can get deep, y'all. I'm good.
I knew you would go on. I knew you had some skill behind that mic, you know.
So once you have this property, is it yours? Does it belong to you now? Is it yours?
Like when people get a film?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that are different for sure.
Yeah.
So we do like on the Heritage Films, we'll do a cut between, and like for a single person, 60 to 90 minutes. But we may have recorded for 5 hours. So, but it's a 60 to 90 minute film. Sometimes they're like, I want everything Meemaw said. And I'm like, okay, good. It's shot on a really technologically advanced format. So you're going to need to go buy this kind of computer, or we'll actually, I guess what we call an upsell. We don't tell them about it, but when they ask, we're like, yeah, we could do it, but it's going to cost you a little extra. And we just kick them out we call it warts and all. And it's a 5-hour edit of the widest camera that we shot with, and it's everything. It's mom picking her nose and me dicking up the pronunciation of names. And, but they want it. I know what it is. I know why what we have works. People love whatever, their child, or they love their dad or their mom, or they love their kids and like, I want to share my story with my kids. And they like, what do I do with all this affection? And they find out about us and they're like, this is a good start. Like, I love my mom so much. I want to keep her forever, even when she's healthy as a horse. So they call us. And then,
I think it's fantastic because you're sharing that with generations. Like I said, they would never, in the past, you never got that. This is a fantastic tool.
It's cool. It's very cool. It's very fun. And yeah, thank you. I love it. And now I'm learning about business. I didn't ever, I would do, when you have a video production company, you have a relationship. You're like, yeah, I can film. We do TV spots for Landry's. Yeah, we can make that work. I can get the people, get the actors, get the makeup. We can put all this crap together, put it together. And I'm like, how much is it? And come up with a number, and they agree, and you do it. Having a business that has like that, this has all been a new process for me individually. And I've loved the process of like learning business. So I'm reading books that, dude, I would never have read, but I need to if I want to be serious about growing the company. And
so I know it's a business, and you got to make money to support all the gear and all that stuff. Totally. Your time. But is it still affordable for most people? Or
yeah, we got it at a price. Yeah, I'm happy to share our pricing. I don't guess I've ever told anybody publicly, but yeah, when we do a single person, like dad, it's $7,500. When we do mom and dad, it's $10,000. Siblings, there's another price point depending on how many there are. Then we do 2-day versions that are a little bit more. Then we have another kind of strata of product called signature films that are a lot more, that start at $25, $50, and they're a lot more expensive, but they're
because it's full production.
What's beyond that? It's multiple locations. Like I think I told you this, and we're doing this one dude who's a retired CEO here local. This is actually one of his mentees hired us, right? So another CEO, this guy is his mentor. He's like, I got to get his story. And he's got like 5 of those guys. So we're filming in Memorial at his house, like a regular heritage film. Then we're getting on the jet and we're going to Iowa where he grew up, and we're filming in Iowa. And then that night we're getting on the jet and we're flying to West Point where he went to West Point. And then that night we're getting on the jet and we're flying to Boston to film him in Harvard. And then from there we're going to Miami where his beach place is. Then we're coming back home. So it's a week-long product. And the whole time while we're filming and flying around on a jet, I've got another crew based out of Tomball that's going to do an interview with one of those mentees every day. And so this is a much more robust. The thing that's unique about us, it is what you see on TV, but our audience is specific to
just real people.
Those people's people, like their kids, their family, or in this case, this mentee group of business people.
Yeah, companies could do this for a founder doing this for, people that come to work at this company, years and years from now. And, that'd be a fantastic idea for companies to do. I mean, we'd love to have, we do have some documentary film, My Grandfather, but nothing like they could do today,
We do a lot of films that are like family-owned businesses where they're just telling dad's story, right? But they're on the phone kind of hemming and hawing. They're like, well, hey, do you think we could talk a little bit about the company too? And maybe, I'm like, absolutely, we always talk work. They're like, no, but could we actually have something for the company website so the company can pay for this? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Yeah. Heck yeah, we'll do it. So then they write it off.
Yeah.
I need to, next time you come through Louisiana, I'll give you the...
I want the tour, man.
I'll give you the tour.
I want it bad. We're going to, okay, good. Wednesday. I'm going to Louisiana Wednesday.
Are you serious?
Well, August 3rd. When is that? Next Wednesday.
August.
Oh, wait, shit. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
No, it's July. No, it's August. August 2nd, we drive up. August 3rd, we film.
What part?
We need film music.
All right. In the beginning.
Here we go. We're going to La Rose.
La Rose. Yes.
You asked me. I know it's 6 hours away.
So
it's by New Orleans.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, man.
And you'll get that.
I would love it.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be great.
Now, why don't you tell us how they can reach out to you? Website.
Sure.
Whatever you want to leave us to promote.
I'll caution my social media feeds.
Yeah.
For the faint of heart. No. yourheritagefilm.com has all the information on Your Heritage Film, the company, and Yearflix, the new one. We have a hold page up for Yearflix, but we have information about Yearflix on yourheritagefilm.com. Social media, Twitter, @TexasChance, and my cell phone. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Are you hosting any of this video online for your clients as well?
Say again?
Are you hosting any of the video online for your clients?
We deliver digitally, keep it in a private cloud and send them on a stick. Or some people are old school. They still want a DVD. I literally tell them, we can make a DVD. It looks like crap because DVDs are crappy. And they're like, well, I got a RV and it's got a... Okay, we'll make you a DVD. No problem.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, they...
And now, you know what's been
what you think is crap might not be crap to most people.
Now what people are wanting to do is unlisted YouTubes. And I'm like, yes, that's easy.
Yeah,
Upload,
that's easy.
done.
Yeah. I do that.
Do you? Yeah, that's great. To share, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.
So it's only a private link that you send out, and if they have to have that link to get onto it.
Yeah.
So. Well, tell me what it... Now I am gonna flip it for just a second.
Okay.
What are we doing with the podcast? What are our ambitions, goals?
Well, my son got me into my brother, and me. I think that's the name of the podcast. It's Three Brothers, and then they got me on left side, last podcast on the left, and I started listening to podcasts more than TV. It's probably 10-to-1 ratio. I'm a big shipwreck nerd, and I just found one, Beyond the Breakers, that I absolutely love. And so every night I'm going into them. And sometimes I like the ones I can pass out to, but I'll go back and catch, sometimes I listen to it 2 or 3 times. But I don't know. Right now I'm kind of not, I'm enjoying the hell out of this right now. We're in the Find Our Thing. In fact, we got some merch and stuff, but we've been putting it on a lot of bands that are touring the country right now instead of selling it. And so we're just getting us out there. We'll see. A buddy of mine we're going to talk to in about 30 minutes. He's a producer out of Nashville, and he's had one for about a year. So it's kind of interesting to talk to him after his first year about doing it. And we'll see. We'll see if we want to monetize it. There's some pros and some cons. To be honest with you, and I don't want to say any names in case I do it later, but there's some commercials that we hear on most of these podcasts for enhancement or whatever. I really don't want to do that for 10 cents, so it depends. We're having we'll see. If it's worth our while to deal in that, we will. If not, then we'll just have a lot of fun with it. And I think we have an unlimited amount of friends we could talk to here, there, and everywhere. We don't want to make it. I didn't want to make it just local. I wanted it to make it, ever. So, and with not any subject, not any tie down anything. So yeah, it just talk to a lot of people that have stories, that are good storytellers, and you were perfect. And to be honest with you, because you'll talk a lot. Most of the time, it's me running my mouth and then Rob saying, "Yep, okay." So, well,
thank you. It was fun. Yeah. I got 2 podcast recommendations before we wrap up that you probably, I don't know, maybe you heard. History of Rock in 500 Songs. You guys love musicians. You like music.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I'll leave it, and then when we're
History of Rock.
The History of Rock in 500. They're on like song 166, and it's going to take them 10 years to do the whole thing.
Nice. That's a nice project.
And it's the History of Rock, song by song, of the most important songs, and it starts in like 1928.
Wow.
So what I recommend you to do is go look through all of them, find a song you actually like. You're like, okay, I want to hear the history of this song.
Yeah, I like doing that actually.
Yeah. And then if you like the style, maybe do one more, and then jump back to episode 1, because it's going to be some esoteric crap, the old times. But oh my gosh, it's so good. And the other one for the even more, I don't know, the History of English. It's my favorite podcast, and it ain't even close. It's so good. It's the history of the English language.
Wow.
And I've listened to the whole. He does a new one every 2 weeks or so. I've listened from 1 through where we are, 180 or so right now. I'm on my 3rd pass through the whole thing.
Wow.
It's etymology and the history of English and the history of England, basically, to help tell the language. It's just fascinating.
Wow.
I never heard either one of those, but that does interest me on both of them,
History.
So.
And I want to know about the shipwreck, so we got plenty to do when we say cut.
Oh, and in fact, those guys talked about one that they liked. It was Pontific. It's a history of the popes.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm in, because I want to see, I grew up Catholic,
Yeah.
but I want to see what they say about some of the kind of crooked popes.
1300s, 1400s is going to be a shit show.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
in.
Yeah, so I definitely, that's me.
Yeah.
But one more time, man, hit us with that.
Yourheritagefilm.com. And I'll tell you this, and I know it sounds cheesy, but it's the truth. You ain't promised tomorrow. You're not promised tomorrow.
Nope.
We see it over and over. Even if I'm not right, price isn't right, timing isn't right. You think mom won't sit down, get your iPhone out and do it yourself. It'll suck compared to what we do, but trust me, there will come a day where you'll be like, I am so glad I did that.
It'll last for the ages,
Good advice.
That's just like musicians now. I tell them, of course we're doing stuff now, but I always tell them that it doesn't matter. You've left your mark on humanity. This stuff will last celestially, forever. So that's really impressive. And I really do think what you're doing is very unique.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys.
It's important work.
Thanks for having
fun.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now let's do it where we actually record it.
Damn it. I got to start up again. All right.
And
yeah, thanks for listening to the Nonsense Chronicles. Please like and subscribe. Even though I will say this, I think people that don't listen to podcasts think that subscribe means you have to pay. Like, no. And I'm never interested in doing it. I will never be interested in doing the.
it's more like a follow, right?
What's
Paid.
What's the paid thing? I can't
Premium
remember.
podcast?
Yeah, that's
okay.
no. I like the boy. God knows they're going to probably change this one day where we can't do it for free. But anyhow, go out and enjoy it. There's a million subjects on podcasts you can listen to, and that's it. We're out.